enough of that. I accept that beginning was a little bit dramatic, but it highlights the point of just how easy it is to kill off your bedding geraniums if you don't look after them properly. So I've got 5 mistakes for you to avoid in order to stop killing off your geraniums. And when I say geraniums, yes, I mean pelargoniums. I don't want people to get confused, but I'm not talking about herbaceous geraniums. I am talking about zonal geraniums, which is the common name for the hybrid Pelargonium zonal and Pelargonium inquinans, both natives to the gorgeous South Africa. Now, the first mistake that people make, and it's the biggest mistake when it comes to growing geraniums, and arguably the biggest killer of all your garden plants. That's right, we are talking about watering and giving it way too much. These bedding geranium hybrids, they come from a Mediterranean style, not from the Mediterranean style climate, and as such, they do not like to be kept in damp, wet, and especially waterlogged conditions because their roots are not capable of dealing with that. What will happen is the roots will suffer. You can get death with the fine root hairs, and the plants will dry out, wilt, look shocking. You think it's drying out, give it more water, it kills it off a little bit more. It is the biggest killer of plants. Treat your geraniums as you would do your lavenders. Allow the root balls to dry out a bit before watering. Don't water them every day as you would many of your other bedding plants. Keep watering much lower. If you're watering every day, water these every other day. Always allow the top inch or so to dry out. And because this overwatering is a problem, not just because the physical action of being overwatered can severely damage your plants, damage the root system, it can also cause more problems later on. I'm going to talk to you about those because this is probably your biggest second killer of killing your geraniums if you haven't overwatered it, but you did and you killed it off in this other way. I haven't mentioned it. We're going to talk about it at number 5. I might have stumbled over my words a little bit there, but I think I got away with it. Mistake number 2 is putting your plant in the wrong position. And in particular, I'm talking about how much sun your plant needs to receive in order to flower properly. In order to get the very best flowering display and to help mitigate your overwatering, if you are overwatering, I know you don't do it, you're fine, but you just keep an eye on it. You need to place it in full sun. You can't grow these plants in the shade because it will reduce the amount of blooms, and the blooms you have got will be weak, poor, not particularly ornamental. So if you have a shady, dark part of the garden and you've seen a lovely geranium in your garden centre and thought, well, that's a lovely plant and that will brighten up that dark place in the garden. Well, it might do for a week or so. After that, it will deteriorate because without enough sunlight, you won't be able to produce enough sugars to feed the copious amount of blooms that these plants can produce. When you are looking to find a place in your garden for your bedding geraniums, you need to provide at least 6 hours of direct sunshine, our kid, every single day. Mistake number 3. Now, you probably purchased yourself a really lovely geranium and you planted it outside and it looked absolutely amazing. But then over the weeks, it's become less and less ornamental because it seems to have stopped blooming. You've got old flower heads, you've got seed pods being produced, and you've got the stalks sitting there looking quite ugly. And it's not putting out any new bud, or if it is, they're not particularly impressive with just a few blooms on them. Well, the reason why this has all gone wrong is because you haven't been deadheading your plants, and this is important, and I will tell you why. The reason why your geranium is flowering is because it wants those flowers to be pollinated so it can produce the seeds in which you have the genetic material that it can pass on to its next generation. And if it's flowered, been pollinated, and produced its seeds, well, then its job has been completed. It no longer needs to divert energy into producing more blooms because it's now diverting energy to produce the seeds. So, if these seeds remain on the plant will come to an end regarding its flowering. It's just moved on to its next stage of development. But what you can do is this: if you remove the seeds, remove the seed stalk, don't leave them sticking up, that looks ugly, it will trigger a mechanism within the plant to say, what happened to all my seeds? I need to produce more seeds so I can produce the genetic material for the next generation. So it puts out some more flowers. And if you keep on deadheading your geraniums, it will keep on flowering and will continue to flower until the end of the season. So we're looking at September, October, until it gets too cold and the plant just gives up because it hasn't got any more energy. This is a key factor when it comes to managing your geraniums in order to get the very best flowering displays. Start deadheading. As soon as the flowers start to turn, you'll get a second flush, and these flushes will continue as long as you continue to keep deadheading. Get on with it. Stop being so lazy. If your geraniums are looking weak, have stunted growth, flowering poorly, showing yellowing leaves, then this is your mistake number 4, and that is to do with feeding. If you're not feeding at all, well, that's ridiculous. You will need to feed these plants. You may not be feeding enough. You may not be feeding the right fertilizer. So there's a few things that are involved here. Your geraniums are going to require an awful lot of energy and nutrition in order to supply you with all the blooms that you want to see. You may be giving it the right amount of water. It may have plenty of sun to power the chlorophyll pigments in order to produce the sugars that feed the plant, energizing it into producing its blooms. And especially for pot-grown plants or plants in hanging baskets, the only nutrition they have is what is available in the compost, and that can quickly be exhausted during the growing season. So you need to feed them. You'll be looking at feeding these every 7 to 10 days during the flowering period. If you're overfeeding too much, you can get a lot of growth of the leaf, but not a lot of growth in the flowers. If you're not feeding it enough, your plants become, like I say, weak, stunted, yellowing leaves. They go yellow because they can't produce the chlorophyll because the nutrition isn't there. But you can't just go around feeding it your traditional all-purpose plant foods like your phosphagen, which is a great one, or even the lovely miracle grow, which is one of my favorites, because if you overfeed with these high nitrogen fertilizers, what you tend to get is the plant directing its energy into producing foliar growth, so your leaves will look lovely and rich, and less so on your flowers. So my recommendation to you is to use a low nitrogen, high potash feeds, and you can find these in your garden centres either by using the Tomorite. No, it's not just for tomatoes, or a seaweed-based fertilizer such as Maxicrop. Use those, you will get better blooms, I guarantee it. Not with money, just with confidence. Hooray! There you are. Now, don't forget, when we get to number 5, that's where it's going to all kick off with some rather serious fungal infections. Unfortunately, they're a lot more common than you think. And before I even get into that, if I've missed anything, don't forget to put any great advice you've got regarding growing geraniums, put it in the comments. Then we can share it to the other people who watch these things so they can grow these plants better.
Bravo!
Mistake number 5 is being very naughty and allowing your plant's condition to deteriorate to the point where it starts to pick up some very nasty fungal infections. There are 3 fungal infections that bedding geraniums get. One of them you cannot control. You may as well just throw it in the bin or burn it in an incinerator.
No!
Yeah, that's how bad it is. And I see you doing it all the time. These fungal infections take hold as a secondary infection because if your plant is stressed and not coping very well, usually it's because you've been overwatering it. Either the roots are too wet and the plant is struggling, or you've been extra silly and started watering all the foliage. You never water the foliage of your geraniums, you only ever water the plant at the base of the pot. If you keep these leaves wet, it increases the risk of fungal infection. So don't do it. I don't want to see any kind of silly watering where the leaves can get wet. The 2 fungal infections that you can deal with. The first one is mildew. So it's a white cotton woolly kind of infection. Botrytis species if you're interested, but that's not really relevant. The other one is geranium rust, where you get these little marks, sort of yellowy orange pustules on the leaves. See indentations underneath the leaves. Both of these are nasty. If you don't deal with them, they will kill your plants, which is what this video is about. But what I would do, I would pick off the old leaves. I would pick off any infected leaves, and I'll pick off any old leaves that are at the base of the pot or underneath the plant on the ground, and then I'll pick myself up a decent bottle of fungicide and give it a good spray. It is called black leg, and it is a fungal infection from the Pythium species, and that name Pythium should send a shudder down your spine because you cannot treat for this. If your plant has got it, you need to lift it up, incinerate it again. Don't put it in your compost heap because in your compost in live fungal spores that can infect other plants. So no, you can't spray for it, you can't do anything about it. That is that plant dead. If you want to know how to recognize it, check the base of the stem of your plant and you will see blackened material, which is the dead material of your stem. It's really obvious to see. If you see it, chuck it immediately. Don't be messing about with that one. And there you go. 5 really important management things that you need to bear in mind when you're looking after geranium, because some of these genuinely will kill your plants, notably the overwatering. You know, you can do it by underwatering, but it's usually overwatering, and these fungal infections, especially that black leg. Oh my goodness, that is an absolute nightmare. And you'll see it in garden centres, and they'll have them for sale with these rough looking plants, and you'll buy them, and then oh my goodness me, you've wasted your money, and you can be infecting your other plants. Anyway, there will be other issues out there regarding your geraniums. I know there are some moth issues with these, especially down in Europe, but wherever you are, if you have other issues that can be severely damaging to your bedding geraniums, let us know. Put that in the comments. I would genuinely love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you for watching, and consider watching this video. I enjoyed making this one. Hopefully you enjoy watching it too.